Hello achievers, welcome to Shakti's Knowledge Hub. Myself Dr. Shakti Sukanya. In our today's video, we are going to have a discussion about the continuation of the topic what we discussed in the previous video. So previously, we talked about what is organization structure and what is meant by span of management and also the types of organizational structure. So the first two types we have discussed in details with example. The functional organization structure and divisional organization structure. So under each category, that is under each type, we have discussed about its eligibility and at the advantages and disadvantages of having that particular type of organization structure. And today we are going to see about the third type of organization structure called the formal organization. Formal organization refers to the organizational structure that is designed by the management to accomplish the organizational objectives. So in the previous thing we have discussed, in case of functional or maybe some divisional areas, there may be a chances of deviating from their concern objective to like organization objective may not be considered sometimes. So in that aspect, that become a disadvantageous one. So by considering all those things, this is the another type called the formal organization. So this is purposely created by the organization, that is the management itself, for the purpose of attaining the organizational goal, that is the objective. So this type of organization will be very formal. We know the meaning of the term formal. So completely in order or maybe in strict things will be followed. So let's see about its definition, features and its advantages as well as the disadvantages later. It specifies clearly the boundaries of authority and responsibility, and there is a systematic coordination among the various activities to achieve the organization goal. So their main concept and their main focus is to achieve the organizational goal or objective. So in that basis only everybody will be working. So definitely there will be a boundary of authorities and responsibilities. Like everything will be clearly mentioned, what is the authorities and responsibility of each and every people, and also the systematic coordination. They follow the proper coordination in a systematic way. Likewise, everything will be in a predetermined or a standard one. So that's why it is called as the formal organization. And here is a definition about the formal organization according to Louis Allen. Formal organization is a system of well-defined jobs, each bearing a definite measure of authority, responsibility and accountability. So previously in one video we discussed what is authority, what is responsibility as well as the accountability. So likewise for every job everything will be clearly mentioned. So the measured, the definite point is given to each and everything in a clear cut manner. So there will be no doubt or there will be no confusion arises or any chances of misplacement happens in the organization. So they keep everything in a formal way. Everything is definite. All the job, each and everything will be clearly mentioned, inclusive of the authority, responsibility and the accountability. And the next is about the features, that is the characteristic features of the formal organization. So if you are saying this is what the formal organization structure means, that will be consist of the following characteristic features. So out of that, the first is it is deliberately created by the top management, that is purposely for the main reason the organization goal to be achieved. So that is the reason top management purposely created this type of organization structure. It is based on rules and procedures which are in a written form. So as we discussed about the blueprint kind of thing, here everything will be clearly mentioned, that is in a written format. So everyone know what is there and what is to be followed, the do's and don'ts, that is like the rules and regulations and procedures, everything will be based on the formal way and definitely will be in a written form. And the next is it is impersonal, that is does not take into consideration of emotional aspects. Even though the things are handled by the human being, it's a formal organization structure, everything is predetermined and in a written format. So it is impersonal, that is does not take into consideration of emotional aspect. No emotional aspect is taken into consideration according to this type of organization structure. And the next is it clearly defines the authority and responsibility of every individual. So each and every individual will get to know what is their role and what is their authorities and responsibilities and what are their duties. So everything will be clearly mentioned. And the next is it is created to achieve the organizational objective. So the formal organization structure is a type which is created by the management to focus on the organizational objective to achieve it easily and in a proper way. And the next is about the advantages of using the formal organization structure. The first, easier to fix responsibilities since mutual relationship are clearly defined. Everything is clearly defined, including the relationship, the roles, responsibilities, rights, everything in a very clear manner. So it is easier to fix what are the things need to be given to each and every person, which person is belonging to which responsibility. Likewise, everything can be easily fixed because everything is clearly defined. No overlapping of work because things move according to the definite plan. They may have a structure blueprint and everything will be in a written format. So there is no chances of overlapping of work or maybe rework or mistakes or wastages of time. All these negative things can be avoided if we have this proper organization structure. That is the formal one. And the third, unity of command through an established chain of command. So they know what is their chain of authority, what is their level and what is their rights, roles and responsibility. The unity of command, that is in which flow they can give the command and who is responsible to receive that command. Likewise, each and everything will be clearly mentioned. So the unity of command through an established chain of command, it will be very easy for them to execute. The next is easy to achieve the objective because coordination and optimum use of human and material resources. Everything is predetermined. They know how to use each and every resources inclusive of materials as well as the human. So they can easily achieve their objectives because they have a very good coordination with each other. So they know what is their role and everything. It will be easy for them to achieve the objectives. And the last is suitability in the organization because behavior of employees can be fairly predicted since there are specific rules to guide them. They have everything in written, right? So everything will be like rules. What are the rules to be followed? So as we discussed previously, the do's and don'ts, everything will be clearly mentioned by them. So it will be serves as a guide for the manager or the person who is handling the other people like the employee or the subordinate categories. So definitely that will be easy for them to identify the behavior and the work what each and every people is performing, and based on that they can perform their work and they can come into judgment for anything or take any decisions whenever required in a easy way. And the next is disadvantages of using the formal organization structure. The work is based on rules which causes unnecessary delays. So it's like a complete protocol. Everything will be in a structured manner and in a written format, as well as the rules and regulation. Everything is clearly written. So even though it is having some of the advantages, being following all the rules and regulations and all the strict things to be considered, there may be a chances of having a unnecessary delay in work or maybe any of this activity in the organization. And the second, lack of initiative because the employees have to do what they are told to do and they have no opportunity of thinking. Everything is predetermined and work, roles, responsibility, everything is clearly determined and allotted to each and every people. Here there is no chance of giving or trying any additional things by each and every employee. Example, if any particular process is assigned to that person, like if you are in an assembling unit, you need to assemble only the bottom spare part of that particular product, means that person will do only that product. He cannot move or he could not try any other new work or maybe new job or anything, even though we know something already or he might be experienced in some way. So this is the reason the initiative thing is lacking in case of the formal organization structure. And also the employee will not get an opportunity of thinking in addition, like they won't find any option of what we can do in addition, like some of the creativity kind of thing. And the last is limited in scope because it is difficult to understand all human relationship in an enterprises as it places more emphasis on structure and work. So previously we discussed that this type of formal organization structure is purposely created by the top management to achieve the organizational objective. So they don't find chances or they don't find time to think and identify about each and every human being and their relationship inside the organization. So they feel difficult in understanding. So that is the reason the scope will be very limited, and also the work will be going on in the way what they already structured or designed, not possible by the people by their own creativity. So the enterprises, as it places more emphasis on the structure and work, they have a complete structure, they could go only in that way, no additional thing is possible here. So in this aspect, this formal organization structure is also having some of the disadvantages. And the next is informal organization structure. An informal organization is that organization which is not established deliberately but comes into existence because of common interest, taste, and religious and communal relationship. So this is a kind of opposite to the formal organization structure. In case of formal, everything is pre-written, everything is predetermined and properly planned, so people will go accordingly. And in case of this informal organization, it is a complete opposite thing, that is not purposely created, and it will be created by its own interest or maybe some common interest of some of the people and their taste, preference, and some of the other common matchings between the people. The main purpose of this organization structure is getting the psychological satisfaction. So previously we have discussed about one point, there is no option for the emotional impact, so they have not considered about the emotional thing, but this is here about the complete psychological satisfaction. So for the satisfaction of the psychological aspect only, this informal organization structure has been created. So we have some of the examples like employees with the similar interest in sports, films, religions, etc. may form their own informal groups. So this is not only in the case of the organization point of view, but also some of the groups which is forming by their own interest, so that is also called as the informal thing. So that's why those examples also coming under this informal organization structure. So any people, those who are interested in sports, or maybe people who are interested in film or maybe religion, so the common interest and the taste and preference of the people which they have a same opinion about a particular thing or idea. So in that aspect, this informal organization structure will be created by them. The features, that is the characteristic features of the informal organization. It originates from within the formal organization as a result of personal interaction among employees. So if they feel or when they feel difficulty in the organization, that is in the formal organization structure, due to the employees interaction and their personal interest, this informal organization structure may be formed. It has no written rules or procedure. They formed for their satisfaction, so there is no need for having a rules, regulations, and procedure. And the third, it does not have fixed line of communication. So everything by their convenience, by their own and their interest, they can go in any way, they can have a common discussion in any point of view. There is no fixed rules for the line of communication, that is the line of command or maybe the authority kind of thing. It is not deliberately created by the management. So by the interest only people have created, not deliberately, that is not purposely created by the top management or maybe any management. It is personal, means the feeling of individuals are kept in mind. So the emotional thing is highly considered in case of the informal organization. That's why they have created this type of structure. And the next is the advantages of having the informal organization structure. The first is speed. Prescribed lines of communications are not followed, which leads to faster spread of information. So the thing is, they need to pass the information as early or as speed as they can. So the communication will be very easy and they won't follow any strict rules or regulation to pass the communication from one to another. It will pass very easily. So that's why the advantage is speed. The next is fulfillment of social needs. It enhances the job satisfaction, which gives them a sense of belongingness in the organization. Since it is created by the interest of the people who have a common interest in everything or maybe common opinion about something, that is the reason they have created. So definitely they will have some job satisfaction and give some belongingness. So feel kind of intimacy feel inside the organization itself, and also definitely that will help to satisfy or fulfill the social needs. The social thing, the socialization of the people in the organization or some of the psychological aspects can be easily fulfilled and they get satisfied in their job also. And the next advantages is quick solution of the problem. It is possible because the subordinates can speak without hesitation before the officers. It helps the officers to understand the problem of their subordinate. So in case of the formal organization, we discussed that only the people can do the work what is assigned to them. They cannot deviate from what is assigned to them. So in case of this informal thing, anyone can speak in any situation. So even for a tough decision making situation, this subordinates can also speak and can come out with their own suggestions or opinions. So definitely the officer can understand in case of employees problem, that is the subordinates problem, they can give their situation or they can explain the thing without any hesitation, and also for any decision making situation. So these are all some of the advantages. And the next is disadvantages of having the informal organization structure. It creates rumors. Obviously there is no line of command, there is no proper communication channels, or nothing is followed in a rules in the regulatory manner. So in that basis, definitely that will create a chances of creating a rumors. So the unnecessary communication or some of the careless things may have a chances to happen. So that's why this is a disadvantageous one. All the persons in an informal organization talks careless, and sometimes a wrong thing is conveyed to the other person. So the communication. We have an interesting subject called the business communication. In that we will be discussing about the different type and what are all the advantages and disadvantages and which thing is best for the organization, like that. It is a very interesting subject that we will discuss later. So likewise the communication will be in a very careless manner. So things may be communicated to the wrong person. Likewise, so many things will happen. And the next is it resists chance and lays stress on adopting the old technique. So it kind of stress, it will create any unnecessary thing, because being a informal one, nobody will be under the rule, or no one will do what they need to do, or what is thing going on in the organization. So in this different aspect, this is one of the disadvantage. And the next, priority to group interest, pressurizes the members to conform to the group expectations. So even though they formed this as an informal group, some people will feel hesitate to do everything what other people are doing. So in that scenario, there may be a chances of miscommunication or maybe misunderstanding. So because of pressurizing the members, like giving pressure to the people to do what the other people are doing, so they may have some common expectations. So there the misunderstanding will be a chances. So in this aspect, there are some of the disadvantages also by having this type of organization structure. Now we are going to discuss about the differences between the formal and informal organization. What are all the differences arises between these things? So obviously while discussing about those things in individual manner also, we could get an idea, and this will give us a clarity about both the terms, the formal and informal organization. So they have some of the basis, some of the aspect. The differences is that the first one is meaning. It refers to the structure of well-defined authority of responsibility. Everything will be clearly predetermined and structured, and they defined with all the authorities and responsibilities. And in case of informal organization, it refers to the network of social relationship which develops automatically. So by the interest of the people, or the common interest or the common intention towards something only, this is created. And nature, rigid and stable. So this is strictly followed, so it is rigid and stable. Here it is flexible and unstable, so there is no stability in here, it is completely flexible. And the next is authority, arises by virtues of position in management. So according to the levels in management and according to the hierarchy or any of the levels what they are following only, everything will be happening. Arises out of personal qualities. So some people may interest in something, example what we have discussed like sports or any other thing, the common interest and the personal qualities make them to be in this group. And the next is adherence of rules. Violation of rules may leads to penalties and punishments. So everything is predetermined and clearly structured and informed. All the do's and don'ts will be clearly mentioned. So if any people who is violating the rules or who is not following the rules, means they will have to face the penalties or punishment. And in here, no such penalties or punishment. So being informal, there will be no rules, no regulations. So no penalties as well, and also the punishment is not there. And the next, flow flow of communication takes place through the scalar chain. So the order will be followed one after the other. The communication to be followed or will be conveyed means they have to go in that order. Who is the person giving order and to whom we need to deliver after the work, or we need to communicate after the task has been completed, like that. Here, not through a planned route, it can take place in any direction. So they don't have any proper or a formal thing to follow. So anyone can communicate with anybody. They don't have any flow of authority. And purpose, to achieve the planned organizational objective. So completely, that is purposely created by the management. So their focus is only on the objectives of organization. Their aim is to achieve the organizational objective. This is to satisfy the social and cultural needs and fulfill the common interest. So for the satisfaction and also for the common interest, this is what created. And formation, origin, deliberately planned and created by the management. So top management has created this type of organization structure, and this one emerges spontaneously as the result of social interaction among employees by the interest among the people. This is what created. So there is no purposely created thing. It is a spontaneous one. It is created by its own during the social interaction among the employees. And the next, structure, well-defined structure of task and relationships. Here they have a complete flow, and the organization structure will be very clearly understandable one, a formal one. And here no clear-cut structure because of complex network of relationships. So no formal thing, no proper regulation to be followed. Everything will be in a different way, and people won't follow any proper or a formal structure here. And flow of authority. Authority follows from top management to bottom in downwards. That is from authority point of view. Who is authoritative or who is a lead person? From top to bottom it will be going in this way. And in case of this informal thing, authority flows vertically as well as horizontally. So anyway, in any form, in any aspect, they will move. Even the employee can speak during decision making, like that. Interdependence. So the dependency level of each category. In case of formal, it is independent. So each and every individual will work on their own. And this one depends on formal structure. So they are not having anything in clear and not in a written or a proper regulated one. If any requirement arises means they need to follow or they need to depend on the formal organization structure. So this is what the difference between both the aspects, that is the formal organization structure and the informal organization structure. And with this, we are coming to the end of today's discussion. Okay friends, we'll see you all soon in the next video. If this is the first time you are seeing our channel, do visit the about page to know more about us, and also subscribe and hit the bell icon for the future notification, and share it to people, those who are in need of any of these topics. And we have our topics in English and Tamil. Shatter the breakbends and relish your success journey. Thank you all for watching. Have a good day. Bye.